Good morning, students. I hope you all are doing well at your places and taking the utmost care of yourself. So let's start today's video lecture. In previous lecture, see, this is a part 3 of the chapter number of the framing of constitution and its features. Now we will in part 1 we have discussed about the framing of the constitution, the constituent assembly, as well as the definition and preamble. In previous lecture, like part 2, we have discussed about the pillars of the preamble. Now we will discuss about the salient features of our constitution. So let's start with the written document. See, this is the most important feature of our constitution, that is written document. Because see, except England and Israel, all these countries, all the world countries are having their constitution in written form. That means Israel and Britain, these are the two countries whose constitutions are not in written form. Okay, our country constitution, our constitution is written form, and it is the largest written document, like largest written constitution in the world. Okay, the next point is size of constitution. In the part 1 we have discussed that the Constituent Assembly applied the constitution during the time 395 articles were there. Yes or no, if you remember, and 8 appendices were there. Okay, but now the day numbers are changed, the articles are changed with the 495 articles, and appendices are changed with the 12 appendices at present. Okay, so this is the size of constitution. That is very clear. Okay, now single citizenship. See, in our country there is a single citizenship. Each and every citizens are provided a citizenship. But see, we all are having the citizenship by the Indian government only. But there in USA, the United States of America, like you are living in a New York State, so you should have two citizenship, one from New York State and another from USA government. So there is a dual citizenship system is there, but in our country there is a single citizenship is there. But there is a exceptional case with Jammu Kashmir because of the Article 370. Because of the Article 370, the resident, the citizen of Jammu Kashmir are having the dual citizenship, one from Jammu Kashmir state and another from Indian government. But if you remember that Article number 370 has been removed now, so the dual citizenship has been cancelled. If you have reading the news frequently, so a few days ago there was a news that Darbar movement was cancelled in Jammu Kashmir. What was the Darbar movement? Just sharing with you that during 6th month, the capital of Jammu Kashmir shifted to Jammu and Srinagar. Okay, 6 months for Jammu and 6 months in Srinagar. So this kind of movement was there. So that movement, the Darbar shifting, has been cancelled now. Okay, so this is single citizenship. Then we will discuss about the federal structure. Now, students, what is the meaning of federal? So federal means the bifurcation of power. In our country, we know very well we are having the power, system of bifurcation of power. We are having the central and state government. So the powers are bifurcated between central government and state government. Okay, there are total 3 lists has been prepared for the bifurcation of power. So which 3 lists are there? So there are union list, okay, then state list and concurrent list. Okay, so these lists are there. Now, why this list has been prepared? Because it is clearly bifurcating that the union government will look after only these subjects. So union list is having total 97 subjects like defense, foreign policy, nuclear and foreign attacks. So all these kind of banking and everything, whatever the government is looking after, at the center level, like telecommunication, defense, foreign affairs, all these subjects are included in the union list. Okay, so central government will look after, only central government will look after the subjects. Then state list. In a state list there are total 66 subjects are listed. Now state will follow, like state will state will look after those subjects which they can their state legislative assembly can pass the law. Like state legislative assembly are passing the law, so on those subjects the state will look after. Okay, we can say that agriculture, irrigation, then PWD, like public welfare department, and what can I say, interstate transport and economic activities. On these subjects state can look after, but state is having the criteria. Why? Because they are having the power of a particular state only. They cannot interfere with another state. So here total 66 subjects are listed in state list, and the third list is 47 list, concurrent list. In concurrent list there are total 47 subjects. Now while in the concurrent list, which subjects can be included? So in concurrent list their subject can be included like criminal procedures, then marriage and divorce procedures, education, economic planning. Okay, so these kind of subjects can be included in the concurrent list, and both the government, union government and state government, both the government will look after simultaneously. Okay, so this is the bifurcation of power, and that's why it is called a federal structure. Now we will discuss about the most important topic and features amendments in constitution. Like see, we know that the constitution is a rule book. So it is a systematic book of rules. So if we want to change the constitution, so what are the processes? So in this feature, by this feature we can amend the constitution, like we can change the constitution, but there are procedures. So there are total 3 ways. See, first we can pass the constitution, we can change the constitution with a simple majority of 50%. Okay, by the simple majority 50% we can change the constitution, like the provision of the constitution, not whole the constitution. Basic structure will be same. Then the next way is, if union government and state government are planning something, or union government, like the relation between union government and state government is going to change, then union government and particular state government are having the mutual coordination. So for the same, in a parliament there should be majority. Parliament, that means Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha, and the particular state legislative assembly. Like take an example of India and Gujarat government. Indian government, Gujarat government is planning something to change the constitution regarding the India and Gujarat government relation. So in a parliament 50% majority should be there, and also there is one more important point: 2/3 members should be present. What? 2/3 members should be present in the parliament, and then after majority will be found. And one more thing, that particular state legislative assembly majority should be there. Okay, is it clear? So what kind of legislative assembly majority? Okay, so this is the second way. And in the third way, if the central government is going to change the provision with the central government and state government relations, like I'm talking about the entire states in our country. So today we are having the 28 states in our country. Yes. So first of all 2/3 members should be present in the parliament, and first of all majority should be there. And after getting the majority in the parliament, the 50%, like majority should be there. Like 28 states are there, so 15 states legislative assembly also require majority. Then after we can change the constitution. Is it clear? Just what can I say? Just recall it again. First of all, 50% simple majority should be required. Second, if center and particular state. So if majority in parliament, the condition is 2/3 members should be present. And one more thing, the state legislative assemblies majority should be there. And the third one is the parliament, 2/3 members should be there, and entire states legislative assembly should be majority should be there. Okay, is it clear? 2/3 members present should be there, and entire legislative assembly, 15 states legislative assembly should give their majority. Then after we can change the constitution. So we can say that it is not very easy to change the constitution and not very difficult to change the provision of the constitution, because what can I say? It is a dynamic. Our constitution is a dynamic, and that's why it is a living document. It depends on the complexity of the change. Is it clear? So this is amendment of constitution. Okay. Now we will discuss that is directive principle, and I am adding one more thing in this, and that is parliamentary system. One more basic feature. It is parliamentary system. See, before starting directive principle of state policy, we will discuss about the parliamentary system. See, in previous lecture we have discussed that Indian government has adopted parliamentary system of democracy. Yes. So, in a parliament there are two houses, upper house and lower house. You know very well that upper house is known as Lok Sabha. Sorry, the Rajya Sabha. And lower house is called Lok Sabha. Okay. Rajya Sabha is a permanent house because in every 2 years, one-third members retire, and in place of them, fresh election take place. Okay. So this Rajya Sabha cannot be dissolved, but in a Lok Sabha they are having the tenure of 5 years. After 5 years, the Lok Sabha dissolved and then fresh election take place. Okay. This is of the central level legislature. This is central level legislature. There is also legislature at the state level. At state level, there is also upper house and lower house. At upper house, there is a legislative council. Okay. And at lower house, there is a legislative assembly. They both are working in the same manner. Okay. Just their criteria is different. These are looking for the entire country, and these are looking for particular state. And the last one is directives principle of state policy, which is also known as DPSP, short DPSP. Now what is DPSP? DPSP is a very simple feature because these principles are guiding the state to how to make the policy for the citizens. Okay, they are just guiding the state that when they are framing the policy, and that's why they are considering as a directive policy, and that's why it is known as directive principle of state policy. Okay, so these are the important features of our constitution. I hope you clearly understood very well. So still, after this explanation, if you find any kind of doubt, you can ask me in the live session. Okay, see you then in the next lecture. Till then, have a good day. Take care and bye everyone.